Have you ever wondered what it would look like if a bunch of dwarves worked for a large space mining corporation that didn't care at all for their safety? Clearly somebody has, because that's what you get with Deep Rock Galactic. Deep Rock Galactic feels like a game you would have dreamt of playing as a kid, but was pulled down to earth and made a reality by passionate developers. The concept is pretty simple. Choose a mission, complete the mission, repeat. Doing this will get you experience and resources which you can use to upgrade and build your gear, allowing you to perform harder missions. This is by no means a new concept, but is definitely a solid one. There's a good variety of mission types, and the maps are generated randomly so that each experience feels relatively unique. With the 4 different roles, each having multiple unique pieces of equipment, there are plenty of things to keep the game feeling fresh. For those of you who like to get into more challenging games, there's plenty of that to go around also. When making a lobby, you can choose what difficulty you want, and there are deep dives which provide for even more challenging missions. Also, there's the hardest challenge of all, character customization, where you can work on your dangerously dazzling dapper dwarven drip. That isn't why I wanted to talk about this game, however. There's a few things that Deep Rock Galactic does that really sets it apart from other similar co-op games. First off, the environment is almost completely destructible. If you wanted to dig a really long tunnel to nowhere, you could. If you need to, you can dig out a staircase to reach a hard-to-get-to resource, or construct a makeshift bunker to fend off hordes of bugs. Everything you do in the game feels and looks good. You mine at a good pace so that you don't feel like you're just sitting there forever, and combat is very clear with the enemies and their health bars being easy to distinguish. Visual clarity is something I really value in games. It can be really frustrating to struggle to figure out what exactly is going on because an ability lacks a clear animation or enemies don't stand out enough. When a game is easy to watch, it often is easy to learn, and I was able to learn the basics of Deep Rock very quickly. Another thing that really stood out to me when I started this game was the community. I've found that in general with co-op games, the communities are usually more wholesome than others. Well, what? As I was starting out, I ran into a lot of friendly players who were happy to give advice and help me with harder missions. This, paired with the many funny comments made by the dwarves and other characters, creates a very fun environment when playing this game. It truly feels like a game that was made to be fun, not just to sell or make money. Speaking of money, Deep Rock Galactic on Steam is $30, which I think is a very reasonable price considering the amount of content you get. I got this game for pretty cheap, however, when it was on sale, so if you don't want to pay the full amount, the game isn't going anywhere. At least, to my knowledge. All in all, Deep Rock Galactic is a great middle-of-the-road game. It isn't very expensive, it has a small file size, only taking up about 4 GB, and is simply a fun game to play. If you're looking for new games, then check out some of my other videos. I have more on the way of some bigger games than Deep Rock, and as usual, if you have any suggestions of games for me to try, I'm always down. Like and sub or whatever.